Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Lady T here. So once again, this is going to be a video not about me. It's going to be about these amazing women. What do they do? I'm not going to spend my time telling you about it, but you've got to stick around to watch and find out. Enjoy the video. Okay, welcome back to my channel. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Then you can find out all the different types of things that I get up to, and also different types of people I get up to it with. Don't forget, hit the subscribe and also make your comments. It's always fun listening or reading your comments. So today, actually no, let's take it back. There's a particular verse in Proverbs 31 that talks about the Proverbs 31 woman. She helps the needy and she stretches her hand out to the poor. Today, I am focusing specifically on that verse with this talk time. I'm here with who I would call a sister of how many years? Mom,
yeah. More than 30.
Not giving away our age, but well over 30 years of friendship and family. So we have here this afternoon
Seraphina Lewis, and I am the director of Bright Futures Nursery and Bright Futures Kids Club, and I run the business along with my mum, Elizabeth Saibu, and my niece, Emanuela Thomas, and collectively we have also started an orphanage in Nigeria.
And how long has the nursery been running now?
The Kids Club came first, and that started 18 years ago, and the nursery started about 13 years ago.
Okay. How did the nursery start 13 years ago?
I would say it was a natural thing. The way this family was, this could go way back into our childhood. Mum's house has always been one of those houses, traditional Nigerian house where you have all the children.
I'm just going to pause for 1 second. We're currently doing this interview in Seraphina's house, and Mum lives 2 doors next. Yes, like literally 2 doors next.
And Emanuela don't live too far.
And Emanuela, she might as well live here. We're trying to buy out the people in the middle.
Yeah, exactly.
So that Emanuela can just come and buy here. So that just goes.
And then God willing, we'll knock all the doors.
And then we just walk right
one
through.
house.
But they've not wanted to go for years. They've been there for years. But I guess the point I'm trying to make is, Seraphina just mentioned it's been in the family, a very family business, or it's a family orientated style where they've always been together.
Yes.
And I don't live nowhere near my mum and dad. I don't think I could live 2 doors next to my mum and dad, but that's another interview for another day. Okay,
yeah.
So you started this about 18 years ago.
Yeah, but it was a natural progression because Mum used to have lots of children in her house. So not just family children, family friends would come over, drop their children, they'd be in different circumstances, and then gradually we realised, oh, maybe we need to get registered. So we registered from the home, and then it progressed into a kids club and then into a childcare business. Childcare just was always on the line for us.
Was childcare, did you see childcare as your natural path when you were studying at uni?
No, not at all. It wasn't something I was ever interested in getting into. Actually, I went to do computer science, totally off the scale. But this was just, this is what God wanted. This was a natural.
And I think sometimes we have to remember that I want to be X, but if somehow the direction keeps changing,
yes.
It keeps changing, and because we're people of faith, it's not the direction just keeps changing. I think it's God
that was the path we were supposed to be on. Yeah.
Directing the change, and we have to go with God's direction. Now, Mum here goes way back with my mum. We all grew up in the same family church, and for me, they are what I call the veterans of they are prophetesses. In our growing up church, they are what we call prophetesses. And for me, women of God don't stand any greater than 3 particular ladies that I grew up seeing. My mum here, my real mum, and there's another lady out there. And when her children watch this, they will know exactly who I'm talking about. But they are 3 awesome women of God. And I think, Mum, if I was to ask you about how do we understand or how do we listen to the direction of where God wants us to go, what would you say?
Follow the direction of God, because He's taught to us and we listen. And following that direction, you will not be wrong. When God says to you, do something, and you follow the direction, everything will be clear and you will not be misled. You will not go wrong. Nothing will go wrong, because it will make things easy for you, because you don't know, because God directing you.
So we just have to be, what's the word? We have to be...
It's like being receptive.
Yes, be receptive to understanding, right, this is not me. Like Seraphina said, she went on, she studied computer science.
Yeah.
Computer science to a nursery. So my question to you out there is, what are you doing right now that you think, yeah, this is my path, this is what I'm going to stick on? Or perhaps God has told you to do something else and you keep just brushing it off. And how many years later we are? 18 years later, we're with a nursery and now an orphanage, which we're going to talk about in a second. Okay, so I talked about the particular verse in the scripture that talks about the needy woman. And I think what I really want to hone in on this particular video is Seraphina and team, which is family, have now set up an orphanage in Nigeria to help the needy children, which I think is... Tell me a little bit about the orphanage.
So the orphanage is a year old now, and we built it from scratch, which means literally there was land, and then we built bricks on bricks on bricks, and literally built it from the ground up. It was on our heart to do it. I think Grandma has been talking about it for a long while, that she wants to, build an orphanage. And I don't know what it was, but for years she kept saying, I really want to build an orphanage and I want to build a home for old people.
So you see, you don't know what it is. You don't know what it is, being God.
It was, yeah.
And it hadn't left.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just there. It's on your mind constantly. You can't shake it.
Exactly. And that's the amazing thing about God anyway, just that, when he plants the seed,
it's not going
anywhere, and it grows, and you don't forget it as well. I remember there's so many times you say, oh yeah, I just want to just go and do this thing, and years later you haven't done it, but you know that you want to do it. Until it comes out, you remember the first day that seed was planted. I think that's just God. I think that's how he works. I think that is completely what the situation was. Grandma's been saying she wants to open an orphanage, and we were just like, go on then. And she kept saying, I want to open an orphanage. And one thing about Grandma and Granddad is that they will say something and they're really saying, you guys
go and do.
They're
really saying, can you start getting to work, please, because this is what I want to do. So really she wanted to do it, but we were
I think as soon as we said, just do it now, we were all behind her, and it's like, right, yeah, I'm getting on with my plan.
Exactly.
And then there was no turning back, because she wouldn't leave us alone.
Yeah, she wouldn't.
Wow, so the orphanage is a year, not so long ago. So a year that it officially opened. But how long was the process to get in that orphanage?
It wasn't long. We spent about a year building, and
because bearing in mind, they all live here.
Yes.
We all live in the UK. We're doing this interview in East London, and the orphanage is where?
Benin in Nigeria.
Benin in Nigeria. And how often do you visit Nigeria? Minus COVID.
Yes. Well, Grandma and I go every 3-4 months.
Yeah.
Every 3 or 4 months. We're a year now, so we've been open, and actually June was the day that we got our first baby, Lucy, in the orphanage. So that was when we were like really, really open. a year prior to that was when we started building, like around a year and a half prior to that was when we started building the orphanage. And whilst we were building, we were trying to get the registrations going and everything else. So I think we were built for a couple of months, maybe 4 or 5 months, and we just like twiddling our fingers.
We didn't realise that there was such a process. When it comes to registering an orphanage, you've got to get the police department to say yes, you can have the go-ahead to have these children. Then there's the women affairs.
I guess they've got to be safe because, let's be real, there's all sorts that happen, especially in Africa. So they need to almost vet to make sure that this is a legit people. You're not coming to Nigeria to try and do stuff. So I guess for them, they have got to be double. And Oh, so you get dispatched children. Like children are dispatched to you.
Yes.
Ah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Depending on the circumstances.
Yeah, exactly. We have had children just show up, like we had people just show up with children, and we have to then take them back to the authorities,
and then they will then decide,
and then they say, okay,
illegal.
that's the legal way.
When you say you've had children show up,
the thing is, some people are so desperate, they're in, the parents or the people who leave their children or abandon their children are in a very desperate situation. They're not bad people who just thought they don't want a child.
Exactly.
They've got no other option, and they've seen this orphanage, and actually they're thinking this is the best place for my child.
Yeah.
So they don't know the correct way to go.
So they just leave the child outside.
They leave the child outside. They've left the child in a hospital. They've just left them in the church doorstep.
So wherever they feel the child will be safe, but they know they can't give the child.
Or
they feel they can't give the child what they need.
My queen. That is my baby girl. It's sweet. My queen. My queen.
So where your orphanage is located in Benin, is there others around the area? I mean, when they knew you were coming to want to plant this in Benin, were they excited and happy that there was finally going to be a refuge, so to speak, to take these children?
Yes, definitely. I think that everybody encouraged us to do it, especially the local area. We had to go and meet the seniors of the area as well, and they gave us their blessing. And all the churches around there, they gave us their blessing. When we actually opened to let the public see where we were bringing these children and what we were planning to do for them, and they were really overjoyed about everything, honestly.
I think I can't hail it anymore. I think Mum, you're doing an amazing. I mean, who does that? Who takes their finances or their monies and drop it in I'll say Nigeria because we're doing it in Nigeria, but in Africa, and we're not based there. Yeah. We're based here. So there's also an element of trust as to who you've left the orphanage with in Nigeria to ensure that it continues to run smoothly. Yeah. So who is in charge back home?
So we have a manager over there. It took us a long time to actually find somebody that we trusted enough to leave the responsibility in their hands. And it's very hard because we're in a Western world here, and Nigeria isn't as developed as we want it to be. And our main goal and aspiration is that those children should have the life that we have or that we expect in the UK. So it's just kind of putting them on the same page. And actually, like when we was doing this, we realized that there's so many barriers, there's so many boundaries that we cannot cross at that moment. So now we're actually aiming to train them. We're aiming to train the staff, aiming to train, obviously the children go into school, but mainly to train the staff up to a standard that we would expect our children to be taught.
Coming from a childcare background, I think we have our own expectations of what we want our staff to be, and we want that for the staff in Nigeria. So there is a lot to learn. Yeah. There's different morals and values. You know our traditional ways of raising children is not always.
So how many children do you have?
9 children.
9 children living.
Yeah, we have 4 babies And for young one from 12 to 5.
Yeah, from 5.
From 5 to 12. And what age are the babies?
2 months. Seraphina's 2 months.
Seraphina, you got a baby girl, and you got Lucy as well.
Yeah, Lucy.
The first baby was Lucy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Our first baby was Lucy. She came in when she was 4 months. Still 4 months old.
Really?
She was 4 months, and then soon after we had Lucy, we had Angel, and she was
brand new.
Yeah, she was
Hours old.
literally hours old. Yeah, the mum left her.
Left her in the gutter.
The thing is, it's so rewarding in a sense. I mean, we can talk about the children's history and their background and where they might have been if they hadn't come here. But when we look at them now and we know their story, and you know, they're showing off their clothes because we send clothes and everything, people donate, and they're showing off their clothes, and we're like, these children feel like rich. They're so grateful.
Yeah, they're so grateful.
They feel like rich children now living as a family.
Do you know what? I think that for me, it says so much because we've got our kids and our kids want to have the latest track suits, the latest trainers and all that. And they don't even want anything latest.
Yeah.
Just send them, as you said, the donations that you get, and they're feeling like superstars. So sometimes it makes us wonder that how grateful are we right now for what we have, whereas they just give them just a sense of what we've got. I think that is, I think it's an amazing thing.
And I wanted to add as well, you know, like we're saying about the orphanage, it's just, I think everyone expects when you open an orphanage just to bring kids in and then you look after the children and you're, oh, you're cute and then you go on your merry way. But we discovered very quickly that it really wasn't like that. You know, you have these children that are they're traumatized, and you know, mental illness, mental health issues are really they're not broadened in Nigeria. So, you know, a lot of them are coming from that kind of background and they're just expected to live with it and deal with it. Now we have to deal with that. Then we have to deal with the people that are actually there to look after these children, don't have the sufficient training. Now we have to deal with that. Then we have to deal with their health issues, their schooling. You know, there's layers that literally unfold every turn that we go, and we literally like, okay, now we have to do this, now we have to do this, and ideas just pop up from nowhere and we're like, okay, now let's do this and then let's do this. But it's just,
there's always ideas bubbling, just like there are children. So when you have your children here and you're like, okay, you're going to start gymnastics now, and you think, you know what, those children over there could do with something like that. That would be great. Let's like get someone in who can teach them some movement. You know, you want them to have the lifestyle
that you grew up.
And why shouldn't they? Yes, they had a terrible start, but why shouldn't they have?
When I decided to start these talk times with what I define as Proverbs 31 women, Seraphina was one of the first ladies that came to my mind, because I just thought, as a family, they're doing something so it's not for them. It's not for them. It's for everybody else other than them. It's for the children in Nigeria that desperately need home, clothing, somebody to love. And I just thought, for me, that is a perfect definition of a Proverbs 31 woman, that her hand is stretched, and this hand is stretched very far because over the ocean we can't reach Nigeria. Like, I mean, to be honest, let me be honest, I think just dropping my charity bag to my local charity shop is my needy. I'm doing my bit for the needy. This amazing family are supporting and are building a family in Nigeria. And as an example, today Seraphina and the team put together a yoga class. Now that was to raise money for the orphanage. Now we are in the UK here, and it's the pound to the naira is, well, with COVID, the pound to the naira is high. So I think we're in quite a good position at the moment in terms of when we send our money to Nigeria and it's converted and how you use it in Nigeria. So the team put together a yoga session for an hour for us to learn yoga. Now, personally, I would have rather just given her my £3. In fact, I would have given her £6 because it didn't go to plan for me. It wasn't what I understand of yoga. Clearly, I don't know yoga. My body is quite stiff. But the point I'm trying to make is, and like they talked about ideas, they're out there making money, or raising money, should I say, to go back home to Nigeria and support this orphanage. I mean, I'm sure there are many other ways that you could not happily take donations from people. What type of donations can you take?
People send clothes quite a lot, and that definitely helps. Adults' clothes as well, because there's a little shop outside the orphanage, so they sell the clothes to help fund, you know, food and nappies and stuff. But children's clothes definitely, especially boys and a little bit older. You know, we get lots of baby clothes, but older children is amazing. We also take donations of nappies. They go very, very quickly. Nappies, wipes. Money is the best thing.
Yeah.
Because that pays for the staff, toiletries, food, school fees, uniform, books.
So are they going to? They're going to school as well.
Yes, we have enrolled them.
We have
all the children.
school,
Yeah. We've enrolled all of the children out of age into
Wow.
school.
Okay. You see, I just, and this is, I'll say it's my ignorance because I don't really know. I just assumed you had an orphanage where you took in children and you look after them, care for them, and make sure they're okay. But I didn't think about the educational part to it.
Yeah.
That's
There's
amazing.
a teacher for them.
Yeah,
For
so
the lesson.
yeah.
We
have
have
tutors.
college.
Yeah,
they have
exactly.
teachers.
They've been teaching. They've been living.
Yeah.
homeschooling.
Homeschooling.
And they have medical bills, of course.
Yeah.
So money is definitely the best thing. So I know it's very difficult to ask people for money, but that is the only way. You know, there's no government funding or there's no charities to apply to.
This is
It
all
really
coming
is
from, with all due respect, take away the donation. This is all coming from your own
family,
personal family pots
Yes.
that you're funding this
Yeah,
project.
It is.
Wow, that is absolutely amazing. As I will put the details of how you can contact Bright Futures Orphanage and directly Seraphina to find out more information and how you can potentially donate, support. But the way I see it is anything is something in terms of what you can do to support this amazing project. But where do you see Bright Futures as a, I don't like using the word business because business makes it sound, you know, profitable and you're making millions. But anyway, for easier words, because I can't think of any other word, where do you see the orphanage business in the next 5-10 years?
I want to see, when I think of the orphanage, I only think of the children, and I'm thinking, just like I want with my children, I want them to go off to college and to university and to be doctors and lawyers. You know, us Nigerians like doctors and lawyers. Doctor, nothing else. But if I can see that for those children and they grow up and they have their own families and come back and say, you know what, you did this, you know, and Mummy Sahibu's orphanage is where we were raised and this is my family. That's what I want for my children. So if that's...
I mean, it melted my heart on the fundraiser today, and they were saying, "Hello, my name is Maria Saibu."
Said,
Like, oh my God!
Yeah. I heard the surname, and I was like, that's my auntie's surname. I was like, are they all Saibu?
They all are Saibu.
The original plan.
Wow. Okay. Just to explain, Mum's hair surname is Saibu.
Yes.
So when we were on the yoga fundraising thing this morning, they had an opportunity to introduce themselves, and I thought I heard Saibu, but I just thought, first of all, I thought I heard Seraphina the first time, and I thought, no, I didn't. Then I heard Lucy as well, and I thought, no, I didn't. Then I heard Saibu, and I'm like, that's my auntie Seraphina.
Yeah.
So they're all taken.
Yes.
They're all taken.
The plan was that they come to us, and then if people want to adopt and give them family homes, they can. That is still kind of maybe.
So they can still go then. That means they
can be adopted legally. That is what our role is to kind of hold them and take care of them, and then they go to families. That does at some point have to happen, but
We don't.
they are family now. Those are our children, so we feel like they are brothers and sisters. They look after each other. They look out for each other so much, you know.
wow, we've just grown attached now.
Yeah.
Like, we know who they are, they know us, and we're just like, we don't want you to go. And the other thing is that we actually have like brother and sisters come in. So we've got a group, a brother, two sisters that they were they're in the orphanage, and then we have two sisters and a brother. So that's
Three children from one family.
So if we have to think logically, we can't just
separate.
go, exactly.
If you're gonna take in that situation, I think if you're gonna take one, you've got to take the whole family.
The trauma of already, being separated from their parents for whatever the reason is already traumatic. So there's a lot more than just handing them to the next parent. There has to be a lot of mental health, care for those children as well.
You see, Seraphina just mentioned mental health care. Now, we think mental health is only an issue for grown adults, but there are in their own way.
Absolutely.
You're going to have to manage their psyche, manage their mental state. Some of them have probably come from, could I say, a rape case. I don't know what's the word.
Some of their stories.
Some of their stories are.
Some that abuse and neglect and all sorts being dumped. Loss, grief, and those are things that adults, struggle for throughout their whole life. So if an adult cannot bear that, these children who have no understanding or recollection of this sort of thing, it's...
Wow. I think this project as a family is such a worthy cause. Seraphina, honestly, you truly represent Mum, Manuela, all of you, Dad, everybody, because though we're sitting here with three, this family is more than three. It's the entire family that have put this project together. And I can only pray that God will continue to bless you guys. I pray that the funds that God will supernaturally provide the funds to grow this orphanage or to bless this orphanage with. But people out there, I hope you've enjoyed this video. As I said, I will leave the details of how you can contact Seraphina and the team on Instagram and how you can donate. But just think about it. When we go out there, including myself, and I go to the shops and I'm buying myself all that fancy, expensive clothes, the lovely little kids in the orphanage, they don't even want half of that cost. They just want a tiny t-shirt, and I could even say Primark. They would do Asda. They would do Tesco's. They would do... These kids back home in Nigeria are super grateful for anything that we can give them. So I'm not using this as one of those TV adverts, cue, the music will change now, to that music. But I'm not using it as a cue, but I just love what the family is doing. And if I could do it, but you know what, I can't. But then you know why I can't? God didn't lay it down for me. God has laid other things down for me. So equally, I'm not saying for you to watch us and you run off and try and go and build an orphanage, God knows where. But I am saying that we need to listen to what God tells us to do. And we just don't know where it's going to take us, but we have to listen. The Saibu family has listened, and this orphanage is flourishing. It is blessing. And I've always been taught that it is much better to be a blessing to somebody else. Because when you bless somebody else, your own blessing comes in many different ways. Look at, I could just go on. But details will be left in the comments section, or you can hit me up and ask me about them. Check their page out, follow them on Instagram. They're going to be doing so many different types of fundraisers, hopefully not yoga. Because on that one, I'll say it publicly, I will give my money rather than join the session, because I can't do it. But no, look out for the amazing things that they will do on Facebook and Instagram, and in any which way that you can, be a part. God bless. Thank you so much for watching. Mum, thank you so much. Manuela, Seraphina, I am super grateful.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
As always, stay you, stay awesome, stay peace, everyone.